break from the usual gymnastics videos to kind of give you a little bit of a tutorial on how to do the Dougie. Alright, so just kidding. Jay Haynes is, no, don't do that, don't do that. When I learn how to do the Dougie, I'll do an instructional step-by-step video. But for today, what we're going to talk about, some of you guys were asking about how to link pull-ups. So pull-ups, this goes with regular kipping pull-ups, and it's the same for chest-to-bar kipping pull-ups, not any type of butterfly pull-up. So for the first thing on the kipping pull-up, the first thing that has to happen at the top of the pull-up, you have to be in a hollow body position. So I'm going to show that position. So at the top of the pull-up, okay, what needs to happen is the toes need to be in front of the pull-up bar. This allows you to get into position for a good push away. Okay? So toes in front. The second part, the second thing that has to happen is you have to have a good push away. So two things are happening. You can't just push away and let your legs drop. You have to actually push away, and you want to think about driving your heels back. So what you're doing now is you're loading. Okay, you're loading the hip to generate that power, okay, from the hips to unload at the top. So in order to load, you got to push away and drive the heels back at the same time. So it's going to look like this. Alright, so your chin above the bar, toes are forward, push away, unload the hip, load the hip at the bottom. So this is your Superman position. Okay, from here, all you're doing is unloading the hip, driving the hips to the bar. Biggest thing here, guys, is your toes have to follow you. Okay, so when you unload, when you load, okay, and you go to unload and drive the hips in your kip, you always want to make sure that your toes are in front of your hips and not back behind you. All right, so one more time, what that looks like. So one of the things that commonly happen with people who are having trouble linking their kipping pull-ups, at the top, instead of pushing away from the bar and showing an actual distinct push away, they drop into a dead hang position. So in that position, I'm not able to load my hip. I have to restart my kip all over again. Other thing that I see is that when people are at the top of their pull-up, their feet are either underneath the bar or directly behind them. So when you push away, you don't have that power here to drive the heels back and get a nice, good backswing. So what that looks like, so then it kind of starts to turn into more of a strict pull-up. Because I'm no longer am I allowed or able to load the hip, unload the hip. So now I'm doing more of a strict pull-up. All right, so those are some things to think about. Big push away from the top, okay? Really open up into a big Superman. When you push away, you need to drive the heels back behind you aggressively, and then as you unload the hip, bring the feet forward. So when you're at the top of that pull-up, you're in that nice hollow body position. So something to focus on for those that are working on this, slow down. Okay, so don't try to rush your pull-up. The speed will come as you get the coordination down. But start by sitting at the top, maybe holding for a set. Make sure you can see your toes, and then practicing your push away. So you don't have to do big sets like this. You're probably going to start to fatigue. But hold for about a second, push away, big drive, and continue to go into it. Okay, so kind of what that would look like for at speed. Those some tips on how to link your pull-ups. So same thing again would apply with chest to bar, is always to have the toes in front of the chest to bar, not behind you or directly under the pull-up bar, because that, again, same thing, it'll throw off your kip and your rhythm.